Hey again! Look at me making a video like 2 days in a row after being terrible about it for so long. But I mentioned earlier in the video that I have so many things that I want to talk about, and I'm kind of bursting to do so after kind of getting the ball rolling and getting back out there. I'm like, and I find it's so helpful. Like, it's always a little nerve-wracking before I do it, and then I just get in front of the camera and I talk and I make these videos, and afterwards it's just like, yes, you got that out. It's almost like processing these things that are in my head, and it's just really, really helpful for me. So I decided I'm just gonna make another one, even though it's only been a day. What I mentioned in my last video was about a new therapy that I've been doing, which is called Brainspotting therapy. I don't remember if I mentioned the name of it in the last one, but so just as a, disclaimer, obviously I am not a therapist, and I don't want to like go and do a ton of research on this to tell you about it, because I'd rather give it to you from my perspective as the patient doing brain spotting. My therapist did send a couple of videos to me with backgrounds on it and how it works and why it works and things like that. So I do have like a basic understanding on it. But basically, brain spotting is a therapy that is based upon the idea of where you look affects how you feel. And to kind of start to explain that, I'm actually going to use a good example because I noticed myself doing it just a second ago after I did it. So for years now, I've noticed that when I'm having a tough conversation and I'm trying to look someone in the eye, or in the case of making a video, I'm trying to look into the camera, and I've seen this so many times, that when I get into something tough, I'm like, I look like this, and I look in a really specific spot to get it out. And I kind of go like this, and it's always the same spot, and it's always like the exact same thing. And I never really thought anything of it until I started looking into this more. But basically the idea is that, different places that we look can make us feel different ways. So a lot of us may have a spot that feels good or more calming, which is likely when I go over there, because it takes a little bit of that nervousness and anxiety away when I'm trying to talk about something difficult. On the flip side, when we are talking about or focusing on it, you don't necessarily need to be talking about it, a difficult topic, you'll also kind of zone in on a specific spot. And with the help of your therapist, you kind of go in and talk about like what's most bothering you, like what's really feeling there, and then tune into, okay, so when I focus on that, where do I feel that in my body? What do I feel in my body when I'm thinking about that thing? And then really zoning in on that bodily feeling, wherever it might be. Like with some, it's like here in my chest, others like my stomach. Like it's different for each thing. And then the therapist uses like a wand kind of thing with like a little ball on the end, and honestly, I don't even know. We haven't started from scratch yet because she's noticed which direction to look at when I'm talking about it, like each time, before we even got to the wand. So she always kind of has an idea already on where my spot is for that. And she has you kind of look that way, and she'll move it side to side and back, and then in depth too, like forward to back, and try to find that spot where as she shifts it different ways, like that feeling gets the strongest. And it's really weird, but it does work. Like you can feel it. And I'm honestly kind of a skeptical person, and I'm not a very like woohoo magic and mystery kind of person, but I don't know, it works. And especially, like I said, in retrospect, realizing that I always do that thing with my eyes, and that I do notice myself, when I zone in on something, that I do look in a certain spot. So, I mean, whatever, the therapist who originally created this obviously noticed that as well and developed it from there. But anyway, back to it. So the point being, then you are like really tuned into that spot, and you kind of sit with it, and it's supposed to help you to really access that trauma. You know, I say trauma, but it doesn't have to be a huge, terrible trauma. I mean, obviously, I have some that I need to process if you've watched my other videos, but um, you know, just anything that's like stuck there and triggering and causing pain and discomfort, mentally, emotionally. And as you discover that it also kind of creates a physical sensation too that you go into. Um, so, and it's weird, like when you're doing it, like I always feel like I don't know exactly what I'm supposed to be doing or whatever, but as I like focus in on it, but and to go back, I've only gone twice so far, and I go again tonight. So it's so both times as you sit on that spot, you know, that feeling gets like worse and worse. It's stronger, and you know, things might come to mind, but you just kind of sit with it and accept what comes. But both times that we did this, and I did it with two different triggers or whatever, you know, because each session was like a different one. And both times I got into a space where, so I meditate. I may have talked about it before on transcendental meditation. And it's like both times I would almost get into this state where like it would be like really strong and really powerful. And then almost like in like an unwinding of this tightness and this tension, like an unraveling, and you can kind of feeling it melt away. And then from there, I kind of get into this place where when I meditate, and if I think it's a good meditation, I get into that place where you're aware, but there's no thoughts or distractions or things going on. And that's like, to me, that's, you know, the best thing, you know, that can happen in meditation is when I get a long stretch of that. Because it's, I don't know, it feels great. It clears my head so well. It feels productive. It feels energizing. But anyway, I kind of get into something like that where it's unraveled, and at first you're almost like looking for that pain again, and then it's like it's not there, and then it's, yeah. But basically it seems to like help you just really process it and feel it, and like I said, different, it's not like huge epiphanies and things like that, but yeah, as I do talk about it, and you don't have to talk, but you know, I talk a bit, and each time just really interesting things come to mind, sort of like realizations. The first time it was also like afterwards I was thinking a lot, and it was like it unlocked my ability to like, okay, let's seriously go at this instead of just getting like locked in on the pain of it. But I don't know. I've done therapy in the past, and it's always been talk therapy, and I liked it, but I always was like, how much is it really helping me? Because I don't have an issue with talking about things. I mean, I talk about these things with other people, my, you know, friends and things like that. And I would be saying the same things that I was talking to other people about with my therapist. And like I said, it's not that I didn't find it helpful, but nothing very drastic. And I have noticed a drastic change with this, and it's I'm almost skeptical, like, could this really have made that much of a difference in me already? Because I mean, I was I've been in a bad place for a while. Like, yes, I had good days, but I was constantly going back in these slumps, and just darkness and loneliness, and just feeling all this pain and frustration of like, I don't know, a lot of how did this happen and why did this happen, and I don't know. I haven't, I think I said it was yesterday, I think I recorded that. I was like, it's been a whole week without me having a bad day or a bad mood or a bad whatever. And that hasn't happened. I mean, that's ginormous. Um, and yeah, I mean, I'm like really freaking good right now. I mean, I know there's other good things happening in my life that could be like helping that. And then, like I said, there's also that I'm working on this, like putting, talking about my story and putting it out there because that's kind of therapeutic to me as well. But whatever combination of these three things, I mean, it's just, I keep saying like a huge difference, but I'm not sure how else to say it. I mean, a huge breakthrough, and just feeling, oh, and like both times when that feeling like melts away, the thing that really struck me was like, this is the first time since this knot or tension or blockage or whatever happened that I have been able to not feel it when thinking about it, like when focusing on it. And like I kind of had been where I thought I was going to have to just learn to live with that and go on with that instead of getting rid of it, because I'm like, I'm never going to forget the stuff that happened. It's never going to like, oh, it's fine. I mean, that's never going to happen. But to even for those few seconds or that half a minute or whatever, to feel like this empty space of that's not there, it was such like the word that it's like hope, a hope that I didn't have before. I thought I was always going to be protecting myself from trying not to trigger those things, and just seeing, wow, so it is possible for me to not feel that terribleness with those topics. And I mean, that's like, it was kind of life changing, really, at least in terms of me been working on healing. I mean, I've been working on this since everything happened back in 2012, and nothing like that has ever happened where it was just, wow, it could be gone. So I'm really looking forward to continuing with the therapy. And if I can find the links that she sent me, I'll put a couple in the thing here. So if you want to learn more about like what it actually is and not just my experiences with it. And I know, you could, I'm sure there's links online where you can find someone in your area if it's something that you're interested in. But I really like it. And yes, I struggle with skepticalness sometimes, but I can feel and notice a change. So I'm not going to, think about like, is this really working? Because it also falls in line with, the number one thing that got me through everything with my first husband was, I had struggled for months of just, I mean, it sounds, I feel like just darkness. I mean, I was in a really bad place, like worse than I was after this. And um, the one thing that really helped bring me out of it was discovering the book, The Untethered Soul by Michael Singer, I believe. And that whole book is about basically processing emotional blockages. And that's something that I've actively been doing. And it's like Brainspotting takes that to an extreme, and it's like you've got an expert helping you to really get there. And in that book, it's, when those feelings arise, you allow yourself to feel it, to flow through you, to process, and like to release it, to actively choose to release it. So it's a similar, but it's like it just gets there and helps your brain get in that space to just release that. I keep like saying it in the same way, but it's such a abstract thing that it's kind of hard for me to really describe, because it's like a feeling. I'm feeling it right now, and it's just like, yeah, it's a relief, and like I said, it's hopeful. And it's just so nice, the idea of not feeling that for a bit. But yeah, it's great so far, and I'm looking forward to continuing, and I'll definitely do an update on it at some point. Now, it was kind of funny. I was talking to someone last night, and I'm supposed to go to therapy tomorrow, and the way we start each session is like, what's really bothering you right now? And tune into it. There's nothing bothering me right now. And for me to say that it feels like insane. Like, I'm like, shoot, I need to get triggered in the next day. So that I have something to tune on. And I know once I get in there, and, you know, I'm sure she'll be able to help guide me some, you know, wherever, and, you know, go there. But it's so great not to have something that's really pressing and terrible in your head. That either something making me frustrated or angry or sad or mad or just hurts. And it's great to have not have that right now. And it's been for, you know, like I said, a while that I haven't felt anything like that. So yeah, brain spotting therapy so far, it seems to really work. Definitely better than regular talk therapy. I'm not saying talk therapy doesn't work, but for me, who's already a pretty open person, this deeper level work, yeah, it seems to be the thing for me, at least right now. So yeah, thanks for listening. If you have any questions, or if you've ever experienced it, I'd love to hear, or, you know, if other people, if it worked for you, what kind of things you're able to use it to get over. And yeah, I hope it continues to be this helpful. And I mean, honestly, I'm sitting here thinking like, good God, I could write like a whole laundry list of all these little things that have stuck with me ever since I was a kid. I'm like, I just want to like dive into each and every one of them in a different session and just let them go. And I kind of hope I get to do something like that at some point, because man, I feel like that would be so freeing to just not have them just pop up, you know, like those cycles of where it's stuck there. And I'd love to see if that's a possibility, because I think it is. And if I have the ability to continue with therapy and get through some of this really big recent stuff, and then kind of start working into some of that other stuff, I think it would be wow. I don't know how else to say it, but yeah. So that's brain spotting. That's a therapy I've been doing recently, and I'll give updates more on it another time. Bye.